Got a star on my car and one on my chest. A gun on my hip.
Good morning in Sabin. Good morning in Sheldon, home of the Shadows. Thank you for making KFGO number one in the morning, number one all day long. The KFGO Morning Crew. Doug Leier, Amistadi, getting your Tuesday set for you.
I'm the Highway Patrol.
Joining us now, Minnesota State Patrol Captain Brian Cheney. Good morning to you, Captain.
Good morning.
Captain Cheney, I want to ask you, when you were a young man, did you play cops and robbers? Did you dream of a career in law enforcement, or how did you get interested in a career of law enforcement, Captain Cheney?
When I grew up in Warren, Minnesota, so up northwest, and as I was growing up, my next door neighbor, right next to me, was a state trooper, and that's kind of what got me interested. He actually was started his career up there and came down here and actually did what Sergeant Grable is doing right now before Jesse did. So. Andy Schmidt lived right next door, and that's kind of what got me interested.
Trooper Andy.
Oh, Trooper Andy. I didn't know that either. Well, we know the Minnesota State Patrol is hiring, and we're going to talk about that. But did you take a different path, different departments, career path before you became a state trooper?
I did. I actually started as a deputy in Grand Forks County, North Dakota, and worked there for a little bit of time. And then I was a city police officer in East Grand Forks for almost 10 years before I came to the State Patrol.
It's always fascinating to hear those mentorships, and now you are that for other troopers that have entered into the field. Do you still hear from youngsters that's what's it like to be a trooper? Someday I'd like to be a police officer and a state patrolman.
Yeah, thankfully in this area, I mean, we do a lot of community engagement. Like I said, Sergeant Grable is really good about getting into the schools along with other troopers that work the roads. So I think the younger you can get into that school and be a positive influence and impact on them, and everybody's the kids always ask many questions on what it's like, and some are quite comical, and as they get older, you hope that you keep their interest and somebody continues on doing this job, because it's just kind of like the military and police, fire, medics. Somebody's got to do it, right?
You bet. Well, and it's just cool to hear those impressions that Trooper Andy had on you, because we heard Sergeant Grabo on with Dan Michaels on the drive yesterday talking about what a mentor that Trooper Dave was to him, Trooper Dave Bullock, who we just lost. Not only that, he came from a law enforcement family, his dad and grandpa also. But if you can make connections with those kids at the young level who get excited about law enforcement, regardless which branch they go into, that's pretty cool. So let's talk about hiring. Minnesota State Patrol, you guys are hiring. Who are you looking for?
So right now we have an application process open, and it's only open for about another 5 days. And we've got two different processes going right now. We have what we call a traditional hiring process, which means, somebody that's either currently a law enforcement officer or has maybe went to school already and is post-eligible or licensed eligible or will be licensed eligible by February to go through. And then we have and we've done this, just about every year for numerous years, but we have the law enforcement training opportunity, so a LEADO program going. And what that is we're looking for people that have 2 or 4 year degree in any discipline that want to make a career change, or maybe they went to school and got a degree in accounting, but never really got a job and kind of lost interest, and they decided, maybe I want to try law enforcement. We also have a hiring process that fits that for them, where we will send them to the necessary schooling that they have to do to become a licensed police officer in the state of Minnesota, and then we'll send them through our academy.
We're visiting with Minnesota State Patrol Captain Brian Cheney here on the KFGO Morning Crew. There must be some great qualities that the State Patrol looks to for those people that maybe took a different career path and then decided to transition to being a state trooper.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. I mean, our core values of respect, courage, integrity, honor, and excellence are some of the things that we look for in everybody. And I think that goes to stay for any law enforcement program. Everybody has their different characteristics they're looking for, but I think for the most part, just going into this profession, especially in this day and age, those are key critical things we look for.
How are you doing in terms of generating applications and getting interest? Where we live in the upper Midwest, I was at West Fargo PD on Friday, and Chief Auditor saying, hey, we still have a lot of interest of people that are applying for when we have openings. Is Minnesota State Patrol still able to generate a good pool of applicants to draw from?
Yeah, I think just like every other law enforcement agency, probably in the last 5 years, that's not been maybe what it was back when 15 or 20 years ago when I started. But we still are getting the applicants because we're still able to run our schools that we've had the last few years. This was a week ago probably. I checked with the training center and just asked, where are we sitting right now? And I know right now we're doing a little bit better this time than we were last time because we had already started a process not earlier this year that had to be kind of suspended due to budgetary reasons, but now it's back on. So we kind of reopened and restarted it, and we're back up to doing better than we were at that point.
And a lot of times, there's some very serious things you guys are dealing with, whether it's crashes, fatalities, public unrest or whatever, but there's also some fun parts of the job. Kind of give us a balance. If somebody's listening now, some young people or parents here listening, what are some of the great things and maybe not so great things, I guess, of being a state trooper, Brian?
Well, sure. Like you said, I mean, the nice thing for us is that we have quite a bit of freedom and we have big patrol stations and we're not locked into a city or a specific county. You have a take-home car and you office pretty much out of your car. You start right from your home and return back to your home rather than report in for a briefing or something like that. We have numerous opportunities around the state. Once a year we open up transfers, meaning if there's openings in other parts of the states, you can bid for those jobs. And let's say you get hired and maybe your first placement is Northwest Minnesota, and you don't want to be there. You want to be down in Southeast Minnesota. I mean, the opportunity typically within a year comes. And along with that, we have numerous specialty things, depending on where you live, you can get involved in, whether it's a canine program, canine program, training and development section, commercial vehicle enforcement, vehicle crimes type task forces, anything like that. But then, like you said, just like any other law enforcement agency, I mean, we do deal with tragedy, but sometimes, like I said before, that has to be done, and you hope that you make a difference in somebody's life, maybe while you're dealing with that tragedy.
You bet. Brian, if anybody wants more information, I know you said you got about 5 days left here. How do they, show their interest or apply to become a state trooper?
Yeah, we're on all the social media stuff. I know Sergeant Grabo's out there quite a bit. Our Facebook page has links to it, but basically if you go to mntrooper.com, there's a ton of information on there for both processes, and you actually can apply right online. The timeline's on there for what's happening when through this hiring process, all the way up to when the academy starts.
Very good. Captain Cheney, thanks for your time this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
You bet. Stay safe out there. That's Captain Brian Cheney, Minnesota State Patrol, joining us here on the KFGO Morning Crew.